Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike the Intern, Ned Reynolds, enjoying our big, giant, black cups of coffee on this National Coffee Day.
Why not? But every day is National
But every
Coffee
day. If we don't have it, we usually tear apart the studio and scream like cavemen. But today, we're going to be civilized and enjoy our coffee. Speaking of being civilized, the Missouri Valley Conference gets a little bit of a new addition for the next season. How's that going down?
Starting in the 22-23 season, next basketball year, Belmont University joins the Missouri Valley Conference. And it's a very big get for the Valley. Not many of you, well, that's unfair to say. Some of you may be familiar with Belmont. It's in Nashville, Tennessee, and it is from an academic standpoint, one of the finest music colleges in America. Why not? It's in Nashville, and many of the Nashville artists go to Belmont. But their basketball program's nothing short of outstanding. They're leaving the Ohio Valley Conference, and that league appears to be falling apart. This is the fourth team to leave the Ohio Valley this year, and there may be more. Belmont will join the Missouri Valley, which is a far tougher league, but a far more credible league as well. Belmont's men's basketball team has won the league championship 7 of the last 9 years they've been in the league, and that's all they've been in 9 years. Their women's team has won the championship 4 times in those 9 years. They have a very good basketball program. They'll compete in the Valley in every sport except football. They don't have football on their agenda, but they do have baseball and all the others. So Belmont University, the Belmont Bruins out of Nashville, really a classy program joining the Missouri Valley Conference. Their men's team and the women's too will be in for a bit of a comeuppance because this is a tougher league. I'm wondering what's going to happen to the Ohio Valley, one of which is SEMO. SEMO's an Ohio Valley Conference team, and that league now is down to 8 after having been up in the 14 and 15 category. Are they falling apart? We'll find out.
Well, it's good to hear that we're going to get more competition in the Missouri Valley. So the end of the Lions-Ravens game was obviously historic for the big kick, but there were some incidents that happened that I think the Detroit Lions were expecting some kind of explanation of why this went down. They still haven't got it yet, have they?
They have not. They still don't have it. And should that kick have even been made? That's the big question. It was, and it will stand. Score is 17-16 in favor of the Detroit Lions in the final seconds of the game. Baltimore has the football, and they take it down, and I believe they ran a running play, and then Lamar Jackson spiked the football. When he spiked the football, that stops the game clock, of course, but it does not stop the play clock. The play clock is what decides how long you have in the huddle. All right, he goes back to the huddle, and he gets set to call the shots and all that, and the play clock runs out, according to the clock on television. Ran out, and it's a good second over. Officials allowed the play to go on. It was an incomplete pass that stopped the game clock again, but there should have been a 5-yard penalty. Officials didn't mark off any 5-yard penalty. They didn't call a delay of the game. And as a result, Justin Tucker kicks home his historic 66-yard field goal. Should have been a 5-yard penalty. There has been no explanation yet as to why the officials did not call that delay of the game.
Well, you would think that at least at some point, because the coaches, they kind of have their own thing too, kind of like the Players Association, so that could be brought up through that too. I'm sure someone else other than the head coach of the Lions, if we're talking about it here in Springfield, Missouri, has got to be.
Well, everybody saw it. There's
alarm.
not a matter there, and the National Football League front office saw it as well, but the fact that they haven't responded, which is usually, hey, we're very sorry, tough luck. It's the way things go. That's usually the answer, and you got to live with it. But there's not even that forthcoming. Very unusual. The NFL hasn't replied yet.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We knew it was going to happen. The Kansas City Chiefs dropping in the power rankings. I think average it's probably like 8, 9. Is that what you're saying?
There's one of them that has them in 10th. That's the ESPN ranking. That's way, way too low. The other two of the major rankings have the Chiefs around 6th or 7th. That's a little bit more realistic considering that they have 2 losses. They're somewhere in the 7 to 8 category. It averages out to that. But the Chiefs are better than that. And I think they'll show that when they play the Eagles this weekend. Well, that's killing me. Philadelphia is my boyhood team. But be that as it may, the Chiefs are a better team. I think they will show that they are the better team. They do have Josh Gordon now on the practice squad. He's going to have to get himself in shape if he can get in shape. He's 30 years old now and hasn't played. so it's going to take him a while. But eventually, he'll certainly add to their receiving corps.
It's not surprising the Kansas City Chiefs are where they are in the power rankings, but the Chiefs are so good of a team that most of the time they can even beat themselves, which they've done twice this year so far. Hopefully they're done doing that. St. Louis Cardinals, can you believe this?
17 straight victories now. This is stupid. No teams win 17 in a row to end the season, but the Cardinals have. And with that victory, they clinched the wild card. Not that there was really any doubt about it, but they did make sure that they are the second wild card team. So the National League wild card race is all over. Cardinals win it by a score of 6-2. Did spot the Milwaukee Brewers a 2-0 lead, and came back to tie the game, and eventually against Milwaukee's bullpen tear them apart. Milwaukee, hey, they're adjusting their lineup, getting ready for the playoffs. They will start their playoff as the division champion, and that will be a week from Friday. Of course, they have to complete the regular season first, but they'll start the playoffs a week from Friday. The Cardinals will play their game a week from today, or tonight, whatever the case might be. I'm going to get into a bit of a rant here, Mike, because while this will be viewed as very negative, and it is by me and the audience as well, I know it's been a rule since 2012 to have a second wild card team in there, but I'm not in favor and never have been. And this year, for instance, the Cardinals are probably going to play the Dodgers. Well, the Dodgers at the moment have 102 wins. Cardinals are in the 80s. Now, it'll change by the end of the season because there are 3 or 4 or 5 more games remaining. But is that really right that a team with over 100 wins faces a lesser team in the record and has a chance of getting knocked out in one game? That doesn't seem to me to be fair at all. But that is the way the rules are.
It's a crapshoot, but I just can't believe I woke up this morning seeing that we got 17 wins. It blows my mind.
17 straight.
Blows my mind. But hey, go Cards, baby. Now we know what the future holds for the St. Louis Cardinals. 5 games left, and there are some teams that are still battling for their position and where they're going to be at. Who are they?
Not in the National League, but in the American League, yes. It looks like the New York Yankees apparently appear to have pretty good, solid control of the number 1 wild card position. That's the way things are shaping up now. They have a 2-game lead over the Boston Red Sox, a 2-game lead with 5 to play. As far as that second wild card team is concerned, oh my goodness, there is a heck of a battle going on between the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, and the Seattle Mariners, who have a very good chance of getting in there, all within 1 or a half a game of each other with 5 still to play. So the Yankees, and we're going to assume the Yankees hold on to win. They might not. You never can tell. But the fact of the matter remains that if they do, who's going to be their opponent in a 1-game playoff? Strange, but that's the way Major League Baseball wants it, and the rumor is that they may add more playoff teams. That waters down the field, in my opinion, but you know what? They didn't ask me.
No, they didn't ask you, but at the same time, it just at a certain point where you're going to have half the teams in baseball going into the playoffs.
And my point is this: there are 30 Major League Baseball teams. Why not have them all in?
Yeah, if you're gonna go that way,
it's a 1-game playoff.
Eventually, we're going to have the playoffs. Yeah. It's interesting. The Royals were in Cleveland on Monday. They lose, then they go back to Kauffman for a series. They're like, hey, we can beat you at home.
Against the same team. And they are still the Indians. They will be for another 5 games. Royals beat them last night 6-4. Kansas City, I'll tell you, they're ending the season on a very strong note, and that bodes well for them in 2022. I like the Kansas City Ball Club. They're playing well. Salvador Perez, banner year, should be an MVP candidate. Probably won't win it. It'll go to Ohtani of the Los Angeles Angels. But the Royals still have a lot going for them. This is it for the Indians. The Royals have already made history by helping Cleveland close their home series as the Indians. That's the last home game. But then Cleveland will play their final game on Sunday, and that will be their final game after 106 years as the Cleveland Indians.
No more. I guess we're just going to have to watch Major League if we want to remember it that way.
That's exactly right.
Well, I'll tell you right now, buddy, Joe Boo will be alive and well in this studio for as long as we're here. You have a great Wednesday.